Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. So that was the European program. The last point again, Europeanize the European Central Bank and force them to stop their 0% lending to zombie bankers and hedge funds, locust funds. Force them to start issuing tranches of 1 trillion euros each for infrastructure, east-west, north-south, Europe to Africa, Europe, Eurasia, and so forth. Now, just in terms of the banning of derivatives, another powerful argument. Jefferson County, Alabama, bankrupt. It comes on the heels of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Vallejo, California, Central Falls, Rhode Island, all bankrupt. Boise County, Idaho is also bankrupt, but in this case, the local court wouldn't accept it. Most of this is CDS. This is credit default swaps that are being used. They're being marketed to perhaps non-expert city governments. They're being told this is a great way to hide your debt or to change debt into an asset or whatever it is. Jefferson County, Alabama wanted to have a modern sewer system. They wanted to invest in it. They were told that derivatives would assist them. The derivatives went south. They soured, as the Wall Street Journal says. This is absolutely unacceptable. Ban credit default swaps. They're already illegal. Either they're gambling and they're illegal as gambling, or it's insurance and the people selling them are not insurance companies. They're posing as insurance companies, and that's illegal. So, and we, again, extend our congratulations to Sherry Hunkala for getting 7% of the vote in a difficult environment. The Democratic machine turned out 75% for their candidate. If we compare Sherry Hunkala to the Republican got 19%. She got 7%. She would have been competitive if she had some money. But this is a model. Her campaign deserves to be studied and imitated, because this is a way to get program into an election and actually use the electoral system for something other than hot air and the Citizens United ripoffs. Now, let's do a quick panorama of the world. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization has had their meeting in St. Petersburg, and we know this is the main alternative to Russia and the European Union, to NATO and the European Union. So it's got Russia, China, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan. It's also got all kinds of observers. It's got Mongolia. Pakistan is now on its way to being a permanent member with the support of Russia. This is extremely important. Putin has announced Russian backing for Pakistan to become a full SCO member. There was a meeting of Putin and Gilani. The Russians will give $1 billion of investments for steel and electric projects in Pakistan. We're talking Kaza 1000, the Central Asia, South Asia electricity grid is going to be supported, and TAPI, the Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India pipeline, all projects that the U.S. wants to sabotage because they're not derivatives. They're actually real production, real infrastructure. So it also means that there's an extra insurance policy now. The Pakistan-China cooperation has been solidified at this meeting. The Pakistan-Russia cooperation also solidified. The U.S. ability to attack Pakistan is being reduced. Syria remains under attack, but the ability of the destabilizing forces, the death squads of the Muslim Brotherhood in particular, to generate deaths in the streets is dwindling, even in the reports given by Al Jazeera and other sources. In Afghanistan is a country that has gravitated towards the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Perhaps this was the reason why U.S. General Fuller was insulting President Karzai of Pakistan. Iran. Now, the attack hypothesis concerning Iran goes like this. Under the U.S. puppet Amano, the Japanese delegate Amano, now the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency, has put forward a monstrously shoddy, despicable tissue of lies that is their report on Iran. It is a rehash of every lie circulated by neocons, by by the warmonger party across the world over the past 10 or 15 years. And they say, yes, until late 2003 there was an Iranian nuclear program, but now there are signs that it's still there. Well, what do you do with the U.S. National Intelligence estimate of December 2007, 4 years ago right now, that told us that there is no Iranian nuclear program? What do you do with that, IAEA? It's been noted it's a reversal of roles. In 2003, under Baradei, the IAEA was skeptical about the U.S. neocon warmongers and their demands for an attack on Iran, their allegations that there was a nuclear reason for this. And in those days, the U.S. was pressing for the attack. Today, it's the IAEA that's out in front. There are more warmongers than the U.S., although the U.S. will be following in their footsteps. So Amano is a disaster. Get him out of there. He should resign. He should be ousted. He should go home. We don't believe Amano. He has no credibility. Rather, the refreshing note, when Sarkozy turned to Obama and said, I can't stand Netanyahu, he's such a liar, and Obama replied, oh, don't complain to me, I have to deal with him every day. Yes, Netanyahu is a liar. His government is composed of liars. So since they are such liars, and since the New York Times correspondent this morning on NPR said, well, there's no surprise there, is there? Yeah, we know that Netanyahu is a liar. Therefore, don't believe his lying warmonger reports about Iran, Syria, Hezbollah, or anything else. He is an inveterate, incurable, pathological liar. Don't get dragged into war as the tail on Netanyahu's infernal kite. In Libya, we remain concerned about the Dorda family, about the former intelligence chief of the Gaddafi government who is in captivity of the NATO-backed rebels. They will be held strictly accountable for his well-being and that of his two sons and other members of his family. We're also concerned about Musa Ibrahim and his wife. We're concerned about Khaled Kaim of the Libyan Foreign Ministry and other humanitarian cases that deserve the attention of the world community. So we'll continue to monitor that within our abilities. There's an interview online between with the brother of Dorda telling about how he's been subjected to beatings and how his life remains in very, very grave danger. Just one more on Iran. The Iran assassination story of some weeks ago turns out, of course, to be a complete fraud. Remember, this was the used car dealer of Iranian origin in Mexico who is supposedly then organizing an attempt to kill the Saudi Arabian ambassador to Washington, D.C. This comes out of the circles of the MEK, the Mujahideen-e-Khalq. This is a group that has been paid by, it's a CIA secret army, located in Iraq, directed against Iran, now sort of an orphan because the regimes that had backed it in the past are no longer here. They regularly show up at the White House demanding that their status be regularized and that most of them be allowed to come here to the United States. Boy, if you think of the role of those Cubans in the 60s and 70s working for the CIA, let's not find out what the Mujahideen-e-Khalq, MEK, would do here in the United States under CIA direction if they were allowed to come into this country. So I'm afraid at that point you really have to draw the line. So the overall judgment, the Iran attack hypothesis remains serious, but still not exactly at the highest level of alert. The other thing, of course, we're watching is the Palestinians at the UN. And will they get the vote in the UN Security Council so they become full members? They should. We call for Palestine to be admitted as a full member of the United Nations. Back in a minute on World Crisis Radio.